views and opinions expressed on Explorers Secrets of the Truth or that of their guests or contributors are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent. All information on Explorers Secrets of the Truth is provided in good faith. However, we make no representation or warranty of any kind, express or implied, regarding the accuracy, adequacy, validity, reliability, availability, or completeness of any information on this talk show or website.
From monsters and ghosts to otherworldly beings, join the Explorers as they venture into the darkest realms, seeking the truth to what goes bump in the night.
You're listening to Explorers Dead Air, Episode 1, the show where we'll follow strange signals, dead legends, and untraceable things that still cast a shadow. This show will be a companion to our normal episodes and probably will fall in those off weeks between shows. Sometimes it'll be a combination of both Les and I, sometimes it'll be us and a guest. Topics are going to be varied and wide-ranging.
Or just one of us.
Yeah, could just be one of us and possibly maybe a guest with that person. So we're going to use it as a content show where we'll have some ability if Les gets out to a conference that I can't make it to and he gets to talk to somebody, we'll try to roll it up here on the Dead Air. Mm-hmm. So I, of course, am Chad, and I am joined.
I'm Les, as usual. Yeah, tonight we're taking you into the shadowy corners of Cornwall, England, to a quiet village, an old church, and a creature that may or may not be watching from the trees.
So you've heard of the Mothman. Well, what if I told you that there's a British cousin to Mothman? So it's a feathered, red-eyed, and wings wide enough to blot out the moon. Oh. This is the story of the Owlman of Mawnan.
Yeah, that's right. So in April in 1967, two girls, one cup, June and Vicky Melling, are on holiday with their family in Cornwall. They're camping near an old 13th century church on a wooded hill in the village of Mawnan. So it's peaceful until the screaming starts.
Yes. So the girls rush back to their parents, terrified. They say they saw a giant bird man hovering over the church tower, human-sized, covered with gray feathers, with wings and glowing red eyes.
Well, that is creepy. Their father, obviously visibly shaken by their panic, cuts the vacation short, and that's the first known sighting of the Owlman, actually.
But it is not the last. Over the next years, more sightings come in, always around the church, always at dusk or at night, and always with the same chilling description. Red eyes, a terrifying shriek, and wings that stretch at least 10 foot.
That is a wingspan. Oh. Now, here's where it gets even weirder. Most of these early reports, they come through one guy, and his name is Tony Doc Shields.
Yes, and Shields was a magician, artist, and self-styled paranormal investigator. In the 1970s, he was known for mixing performance art and occult practices. Some say he was summoning sea monsters, while others say he was just summoning headlines.
Yeah, and a few say he may have even been summoning something else entirely.
Yes, skeptics think Shields made the whole thing up, and that he was using the girl's story to build a legend. But even after Shields left the picture, the Owlman did not go away.
Well, that is either a credit to the power of a good hoax or a clue that something real was actually going on.
Yeah, sightings continued, and in 1978, two girls camping near the church saw the Owlman again. They described it almost exactly the same as June and Vicky had 2 years earlier.
Yeah, one of them even said it was like a big furry bird with a gaping mouth and glowing eyes, and it flew straight at us.
Now, fast forward to 1980, more sightings, and then again in 1995, when a woman wrote in to a paranormal researcher saying she and her friend had seen a man-sized owl with claws like a crab standing on a branch outside the church.
Oh, that is very, very odd. But in 2000, a young man from Chicago claims he was attacked by something in the woods near Mawnan. He was left with scratches across his chest and no explanation.
So, what is the thing? Is it a hoax, a case of misidentification, or something much stranger?
Well, let's start with the grounded theories. The obvious suspect are, in fact, just owls. Specifically, the Eurasian eagle owl. No, don't know if you've ever heard of that one.
Mm-hmm.
Huge wingspans up to 6 feet, which isn't too far from, the supposed 10-foot. They screech. Their eyes also reflect red, and in low light, they can look downright terrifying.
But a 6-foot owl with crab claws and human like legs,
Hmm.
that's kind of pushing it.
Yeah, yeah.
Another theory ties it to the ley lines, the supposed path of the mystical energy that crisscrosses the earth, and the man in church is said to sit on one.
Yeah, we covered in one of our Dogman episodes. We talked about the ley lines and actually this specific area, and I mean the Owlman is one of many oddities that come out of that area, but ley lines in particular have some sort of a connection to freaky goings on, and along with that, there's the folklore angle. Right. So creatures like the church grim, the black shuck, which I know you've brought up on the show before, and the Hern the Hunter, which is dark guardians of ancient places, which that could be an interesting show topic in the future. So the Owlman could be a modern echo of something, much older.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe it's like the Mothman, it's a harbinger, something that shows up when something bad is coming up.
Yeah, but if that's the case, what would the warning be about?
Huh. Yeah, that is true.
Because I mean, it was just a couple of kids camping with their parents. Like, I mean, they weren't doing anything that put them in danger, at least not that we were aware of,
Yeah. So think about it this way. It's 10:20 p.m. We're just standing outside the church. There's no lights, just the moon and whatever is watching from the trees.
Right. Well, it's dead quiet, seriously eerie. I get why people say this place feels charged, like the woods are holding their breath.
But there's no sign of our feathered friend. But man, this place where legends don't necessarily feel like stories when you start to think about, England and the work Andy's doing and stuff like that. England just seems to be more of a hotbed of some of this paranormal legends and folklore.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, just look at the history of that area. I mean, you go back centuries of human existence and war and plagues and there's so many atrocities that happened over there, and I mean a lot of good things have happened as well, but I mean there's a lot of stuff that could definitely bring about ominous spirits or beings or creatures. I mean, to your point, the folklore alone is, there you go, is very expansive and extensive. There's so much that you could coin as far as not really cryptid, but I guess paranormal or otherworldly things.
Mhm.
But so it's either a regular owl, or what if they were about to get abducted?
Yeah. Well, if I would disappear mid-recording, you know what got me.
Right. So why does the Owlman stick around? Why has this story survived decades? Skeptics and silence.
Hmm. Could it be that it's more than just a monster story? It's kind of a mirror. The Owlman, kind of the fear is familiar, the shape, the wings in the dark, eyes in the woods. That whole like something ancient looking back at us. If you stare into the darkness long enough, something will start staring back at you.
True. And maybe it's because deep down we want there to be something unexplained out there, like something that slips past science, something wild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or maybe much like the Mothman, we've seen it, we just haven't had to admit to it yet. Like there's agencies out there that know what it is and just haven't released that information to the general public.
Right. And it is kind of interesting. Like you take the Owlman, descriptions match perfectly to the Mothman. So you have the Owlman over in the UK, you have the Mothman in West Virginia, you have a lot of Mothman sightings in like the Chicago area. So you have these flying cryptid, man-like cryptid creatures all over the world, really. So could all these people be wrong? Could they all be misidentifying, owls or some other large bird-like creatures? I mean, there's got to be something to this. There's got to be something more. I know I, for one, I'm a very superstitious person, and I do want to believe or feel as though there's got to be more to this world than we realize. I think there's a lot of secrets that are kept, maybe not to the extreme of a lot of conspiracy theorists, but I mean, I think there's more that exists than we're aware. I mean, like I said, for all these sightings and everything that have been reported and encounters that take place, not just with Owlman, but with a lot of other cryptid creatures or paranormal beings and stuff like that, I just feel there's more to things than we realize.
Yeah, I would think there's got to be something. I can't imagine everybody is just misidentifying something.
Right.
And for the multiple encounters, people that aren't necessarily connected having similar stories and then giving similar descriptions,
Mhm.
I can't believe that it's necessary